It's like the dead of winter. It's minus 30 outside in Canada right now. And let me tell you, I feel rough. It is tough being inside all the time. But I got good news for you guys because this spring, we have so many good interviews on the show and amazing episodes coming up. Here's a sneak peek of what's in store on Dope Nostalgia Winter Spring 2021. Check it out.
Never used to be on the Tom Green Show.
I DJ'd on it.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Now, what was the deal with Phil Giroux sitting behind the window laughing, drinking his coffee? What? I laughed at that. That itself was a hilarious sight gag, I thought.
Yeah.
That he was just randomly there.
Oh, he's there for moral support, right?
Okay. So
and the laugh. You know, you needed that laugh.
So he's like an old friend of the group kind of thing, and he was just
Phil was part of Organized Rhyme.
Blur was so creative with their writing as well. I mean, I find Oasis to be extremely Beatles influenced. When it brings back that kind of nostalgia of the Beatles, which I think more people kind of understood. But Blur have this really interesting melodic rhythm that I just love, and every song sounds so different and unique. I find, I mean, I love Oasis. All their songs are just like you can put an album on in a bar and everyone knows pretty much every song.
I mean, that's a wide range, man.
Yeah, and I'm fortunate that, you know, one of the things that a lot of male vocalists lose first is their falsetto and their head voice. And, you know, I've made it a point because that's sort of where I came from. My high stuff I can use as a weapon, so to speak.
Well, listening to it, I went a little bit back and forth on being like what I expected from it, you know. I knew that it was going to be different than my exposure to Extreme had been, because it's a band I never really checked out beyond what had ever been presented to me.
For sure.
You know, people still get up to do More Than Words at karaoke all the time, you know, that sort of thing, right? Like so to me, I'm like, okay, that's what I think of Extreme. Like, that's just my experience with them. So then listening through this, especially those first 5 songs, where I'm like, oh man,
what's happening here?
Heck fucking metal shit in here. This is awesome.
Music is like the great connector, right? It is the universal language. But the other cool thing about music is that when you are all like, if you're in a live situation and everybody is listening to that music and watching that performance, everybody is doing the same thing at the same time. Right? We're all connected and all feeling that vibration of whatever that music is giving you. So there's a connection feeling that you get in those live situations that you can't get anywhere else, right?
I love the New Kids on the Block.
Why did you cover it?
Oh, hey, Duns.
No one loves the Mavs. Go screw yourself, Donnie.
That's the room you want to be in, right? Right there.
Oh,
dude, that's how you do it, Jordan. Take it all the way off. Okay, he's getting pissed.
Donnie's having fun. We love that.
You know, they have a bromance. I see a lot in videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is Joe?
I know Joe's too shy, man. He's got that Catholic guilt.
He just dresses outside.
Catholic guilt, eh?
Joe's got that Catholic
I'm sure
guilt.
He's feeling that Catholic guilt when he's FTF.
On the street, back in the day when I worked at Much, don't get me wrong, I loved my job. I loved it. But there was something that irked me, which was a lot of people assumed that I was made by Much, which in fact is not accurate. And I don't think it's accurate for any of the on-air people. What Much Music did is they found people who were already music fans or already funny or already knowledgeable about performance. We were already someone of interest. And then Much Music put us together. And it is that sort of family of quirky, strong characters that was the basis for Much Music.
No, what they did to Much Music was unconscionable. They didn't understand the channel. They didn't understand why it was popular. This program director woman would have her TV could split into 4 or 6 screens. Like the one screen could split into 4 or 6 screens so you could monitor the feeds from different channels. And she wasn't monitoring Much Music or Much More Music. She was monitoring MTV channels. And you'd go in and she'd say, why can't we do a show like that? And there was numerous reasons why. One, that's a different channel with a different vibe to it. Two, we don't have the money. Three, we don't have the manpower. And the channel became a series of derivative reality shows that were knockoffs of MTV shows, but done really poorly.
I do definitely want to say hi to Ed once.
Sure. Let me go get Ed.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Fantastic.
Ed? What? She wants
Ed.
to talk to you. Oh, Christ. Hello?
Vernon Reid, who's the guitarist, was like, hey, I like that. And they took it and they kind of went into the studio and they wrote it in a couple of hours. And lo and behold, a couple hours later, Cult of Personality was there. But that lick is now so famous. It was also, and I didn't know this, it was used in a number of Guitar Hero, the video game Guitar Hero.
Yes.
It was used in that quite heavily, and it was kind of like the boss level Guitar Hero. Like if you got really, really, really good, if you were insanely good, you would go. And as I was actually looking up a couple things to talk about tonight, I stumbled upon this guy who got 100% on Cult of Personality in Guitar Hero and uploaded the video onto YouTube. And I highly recommend your listeners go watch it, if for no other reason than to say, what the hell? Because once it gets into the guitar solo in the middle of the song, it's just insane. It's just, I don't know.
Mode.
It's I don't even know how this guy did it. He must.
Yeah. So, Farmer's Daughter, took off down in Nashville, and there were, several record companies that were looking at us at the time. And, we barreled in there with our Canadian, hair colors and fashion sense, and a lot of, we had a sponsorship from Le Chateau at the time. So they dressed us head to toe, and like fabulous stuff that wasn't even necessarily on the racks at the time. So
I loved your fashion.
Thank you. A lot of leather, a lot of like the metallic shiny leathers, and I had the red hair with the blonde in the front. And I think honestly, looking back now, we probably could have toned it down a little, because at the end of the day, and listen, I have nothing but love for the Dixie Chicks. They're fabulous. And they've, incredible songs. We were very much the same, but here's the funny part. At that point in time in the country music industry, they literally said there's room for one female trio.
Every time we make a record, it never fails. Harry or Peter or I'll go, we're never doing this again. Because it really does take up all of your brain matter. And then you don't think you'll ever be able to achieve what you just achieved.
Yeah.
And then we do it again. And then we do it like every year. And we're like, it's 17 albums now, I think. Something like that. And it's like, oh, that's why I'm so old.
It's like an addiction, though. You're like, no, I'm done. But no, you're never done.
Yeah, well, now we're just like, we're never going to say that anymore because we just keep saying it. But we're amazed that we're still like, we started to achieve what we wanted to achieve when grunge music came into the fold and pretty much destroyed anybody with nice hair.
From the shows and the TV appearances and the concerts you did back in the 90s, Much Music, who are some of your favorite hosts and shows to visit?
Oh my gosh. I mean, everything. Like Sook-Yin was, she was one of our heroes. She was an idol for sure. Yeah. Teresa was, because she did the metal show. And that was like, she was a woman doing the metal show. And this is after Dan Gallagher, who was like Power Hour. We used to run home and watch it. But Master T, still is a hero. And I don't know, Jen Hallett. And there's just so many, obviously Rick the Temp, it was kids today, they don't know. They just don't know how cool it was.
The power of the VJ.
Amazing. It was amazing, They really were our heroes, and we looked up to them, and we watched them and adored them. I also have to say Monica Diol, for us, she was a supermodel.
this is going to be an exciting spring, and it's so fun to see all the people that we're going to have on the show. So thank you for supporting us, and share the show. Tell a friend. Find all of the links to listen on www.dopenostalgia.com. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Music, Stitcher, and wherever you get great podcasts. You can subscribe to our Patreon for as little as $1 a month to support the show and show your love and help us pay the bills. And we have a YouTube channel where you can see all the interviews that happen and all the bonus clips and all the sweet, sweet stuff we do here. Hey, I love you, and thanks for watching.